Well, hello, 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 everyone. Welcome in. So glad that everyone is coming in. Welcome. And our subject tonight is finding inner calm during the storm around you. And I am Janet Austin Jackson. I'm coming to you from streaming from Atlanta. And boy, we've been having the last few days nothing but messages and all kinds of alerts about the storm coming in. And what I'm going to talk to you about in finding the inner peace within ourselves is something I definitely had to use myself during this time because it was you want to stay abreast of everything, but when you're tuning into the television or social media or anything or trying to find out how long or how long is the storm going to last, when is it coming, and it's the ice storm and all that information, and you're picking up fears, other people's fears. So it absolutely it's not just the one thing that is people are dealing with. It's the thoughts behind the actual event, even before the storm comes, you find yourself kind of worked up. So anyway, that's what we're going to talk about together. And I'm so thankful that you're here, choosing to pause, to sit, and to come home to your self, especially during times like these. So I'm going to talk for about 10 minutes in introduction, and then we're going to go into meditation and then open it up to any questions that you like to share. And every Sunday, I'll be coming on live at 7 o'clock. And my whole idea is to create this safe space where you can just reset your mind, being ready for the work week. Even though with the storm, a lot of people are not going to be able to go to work because Monday is supposed to be even more treacherous than what people in different parts of the country is experiencing now. But just coming on to absolutely help you to tap into that calm part of yourself. There is something called, which I learned lately, called the Sunday scaries. And that is, you had a good weekend, but then when Sunday evening comes and you kind of work your mind up to, oh, I got to go to work, I got to do this and I got to do that, So what we want to do is be able to have a calm place in our mind and tap into that part of yourself that you may not even know have existed, but it's already there for you, just waiting for you. So we're living through a very real storm in our nation right now, right? And for many people, there is fear and anger and confusion and uncertainty. And some people feel deeply affected by what is happening, and others feel less impacted or experience it differently. It's all about our perception, how we view things that are happening to us. There can be two children living in the same house experiencing the same situations with their parents, or their parents are arguing or whatever, but one of the children feels this, very calm about it. The other one could be terrified. So, excuse me, but whether the outer world feels calm or turbulent to you, there's something we all share. We all have an inner world. And for many of us, that inner world feels stormy right now. Even when nothing is happening in this exact moment, the mind keeps moving, right? So it's not even just about the storm, but what's happening in our country and all the changes that are going on. So the mind replays, especially the ego mind, replays conversations. It imagines worst case scenarios, and it pulls us into the future or drags us back into the past. So this is the inner storm. And tonight is about learning how to be with that storm in a new way, not being able to be accepting of it, um, but not trying to push it away or make it go away. See, we have 60,000 thoughts, and some people have so many, they're constantly ruminating over things, and they said, "I wish I could just shut off my mind," but it doesn't work that way, right? But we can learn not to suffer behind the mind. So I want to share something personal with you because many of you may have recognized yourselves in this. So for a long time, I tried to fix my mind. I tried everything. Right? I tried different forms of meditation. I prayed harder. I read book after book after book. My bookshelves are just filled with books. I listened to teachers and I went to different workshops and different type of sessions, anything with spirituality or motivation. And I searched for the right method, right? And the right words, the right answer that would finally quiet my thoughts. And sometimes those things helped, they helped for a while and learned a new way of dealing with the thoughts, but then that went away. But the mind always comes back, right? The fear came back, the worry came back. I would feel calm for a short time, and then the thoughts would return, often louder than before. It felt so frustrating to me because I said, I really, really got out there and tried to help myself. A lot of people have these feelings and they go into anger and frustration, but they don't try to seek to find out what they can do to help themselves. And I thought, I'm doing this and it's still not working. It felt like I was falling or failing at peace. What I did not understand then is something very important. And that is, I was always trying to escape my inner world. I was trying to get away from my thoughts, to control them or to replace them with better ones. But I had not yet I had not learned how to go inside and meet them with kindness. Everything changed when I learned that peace does not come from fighting the mind. That's what I was doing, was fighting it. Peace comes from understanding it. This brings me to a teacher from the Buddha that feels especially helpful right now. It's called The Teaching of the Two Arrows. It's one of my favorite stories. The Buddha said that in life, there is a first arrow. This first arrow represents the natural pain we experience when something difficult happens. When we have a loss, or maybe fear, or uncertainty, or disappointment, or change, or physical pain. This pain is part of being human, and we can't avoid this first arrow of pain. It's not a personal failure, it's life. We all have it. But then he said we often pick up a second arrow and shoot it into ourselves. Now, this second arrow is optional, it's created by the mind. The second arrow is endless thinking. Like, why is this happening? And why has this happened to me? And what if things get worse? I can't handle this. This shouldn't be happening. Right? What will happen to me, to my family, and to my country? This second arrow is what we call ruminating, rumination. So it's a story we tell ourselves over and over and over again about the pain. The first arrow hurts, but the second arrow, get this, the second arrow creates suffering. So things happen to us, but we don't have to suffer behind them with our thoughts that's going over and over and over again. Right now, so many people are experiencing the first arrow, especially with the storms and what's going on in the country and around the world. The world feels unstable. Systems, so many things are changing, especially in our country. The future feels uncertain. These reactions are human, and so we shouldn't get upset about having them. There's nothing wrong with feeling concerned or sad or afraid. But what exhausts us, what keeps us awake at night, and what tightens the body and clouds the heart is often the second arrow. the constant mental replay, the endless commentary, the fear looping again and again. This is where mindfulness comes in. And this is why I've taught this mindfulness almost 25 years. Mindfulness does not remove the first arrow. Like I said, it's human to have these things that are happening to us from pain and illness or whatever it is, breakups and marriages or whatever challenges we have. It teaches us how to stop, but the mindfulness teaches us how to stop adding the second arrow, shooting the second arrow into us, we're hurting ourselves. So when we come home to ourselves, we begin to notice something very important. Thoughts are happening, but we're not the thoughts. Fear is present, but we're not fear. And if we were our thoughts, the thoughts we had, when we were a little kid, we would still be having those types of thoughts that are our identity, right? But they're changed. And then we were angry. If we our thoughts, last hour we're angry, and this hour we're joyful, then we couldn't have been our thoughts because we'd still be that anger all the time, right? So we think that we're our thoughts and we believe our thoughts, but most of these thoughts are not true. We pick up thoughts from other people, people surrounding us in our work situation, our family, our friends say things, and we hold on to it. But when we hold on to so many thoughts, they become our identity, like saying maybe you felt anxious about something, and then you pick up the word anxiety and you start saying, I have anxiety, I have anxiety. Well, you're telling yourself that, right? And no one has maybe diagnosed you, but you picked up that word and you start taking on, well, let me look at chat and see what identity anxiety is. Oh, I have this, I have that feeling, whatever it is. That's who I am. No, it's not who you are. You're more than that. Those are emotions and those feelings, but those emotions come up because they're attached to thoughts. First comes the thoughts, and then we keep thinking the same old thoughts over and over again. They become our identity. First, they become an emotion, and then we push it down inside of us, and we think that we forgot about it. But no, it goes into the pain in our body and creates pain, from our back aches to our neck aches to all kinds of things. And I know for myself, before I discovered mindfulness, and I would have those kinds of thoughts, and I worked in the television industry, and it was so competitive and fast moving and whatever, and I just created. High blood pressure for myself, taking things home with me and feeling that I wasn't enough, that type of thing. So, and also, we have fear is present, but we're not fear. Uncertainty is existing too, but we're not uncertainty. Most of us were never taught how to be with our inner experience. We're taught to fix, distract, numb, or power through, alcohol and whatever else, drugs or whatever we use to try to get away, escape, even, all types of things that we use not to feel. So we're really on social media and our phones, and right away we grab them, right? So it becomes that habit, and so then we get more thoughts that are not ours, but we take them on. So when the world feels stormy, the mind becomes stormy too. So think about this actual storm right now. Uh, the heavy rain and the wind. The rain was coming down not too long ago, right outside my window. Um, and it was ice, what they call black ice. Since you can't see it really, but it's down on the ground, and telling people don't drive, don't drive, and all the stores were closed. So it's a lot of fear, and I have to admit I had picked that up too, but I had to stop, and do what we're getting ready to do through our meditation, and just breathe. Um, so when heavy rain and wind come, you don't argue with the sky, right? You not tell the storm to stop. You find shelter and you stay grounded and you wait. So the same is true for the inner storm. Mindfulness teaches us how to shelter inside ourselves, not by pushing thoughts away, but by learning how to observe them without judgment. And being kind to ourselves. Sometimes we have these thoughts and we get upset with ourselves, right? We get upset with ourselves and think that, wow, man, I wish that I didn't have these feelings, why am I thinking this way? Why am I going through this? So you blame yourself. But when a fearful thought arises, instead of fouling it, with mindfulness, we notice it and we say silently to ourselves, thinking. So we step back from that thought and we step into who we really are, and that's awareness. We are aware of our thoughts, aware of our emotions. And when we step back from it, it creates spaciousness. And in that space is where we find that peace and that love and that happiness. The thoughts come and they go, the emotions come and they go, but we try to hold on to them, right? But in that spaciousness, when these thoughts are leaving and there's a gap there, that's where we can find our higher power, connect with our higher power, our God self, just right there, just waiting to tap into it. So when the mind jumps to the future, we notice future thinking too. When the body tightens, we notice tension is here as well. So it's simply noticing and it interrupts that second arrow. So we're not shooting ourselves with the second arrow because guess what? The mind can't hold two thoughts at the same time, right? So when we just stop and notice the thought, that heavy thought is moving anyway, it's just trapped energy and it's going right outside of our body. Now we'll have other thoughts that come behind it, but what we're doing is retraining our mind. We're training our mind to be just aware without getting caught up into it, suffering behind the thoughts, right? So you may still feel concern. You may still feel sadness or uncertainty. This is the first arrow. Remember, like I said, we have arrows. These first arrows come in our life as part of being human. But you stop feeding the suffering with the second arrow. You stop the second arrow, which is the suffering part, right? You stop arguing with reality in your mind and you come home to yourself. It means returning to what is here right now, your body in the chair. Your breath is moving in and out, the sound of my voice. The simple fact that in this moment, you're safe enough just to pause, just to be here with me, right? This is not avoidance. This is wisdom, and you tap into your inner wisdom, your guidance, your God self, if you're spiritual. People name that, and that's what the mystics used to talk about, the leaders, spiritual leaders throughout the centuries. It's right between those thoughts is that spaciousness, is that peace, and that's where we want to rest in that. So when you're grounded in the present moment, you respond more clearly in the world. You make better choices. You speak with more care. You act from steadiness instead of fear. So again, the mind will still produce thoughts. That's its job. But you no longer have to believe every thought or follow every story that comes up in your mind. And this is what I had to learn, these stories that I was creating over something that I thought was going to happen, or whether I was short on finances. Oh, this is going to happen, or whatever it is, our health situations, our relationships. Oh, in my mind, I was making it worse than what it was. Yes, an incident happened, but I was adding on to it. So peace is not outside of me. It's not outside of you. It's another another technique, another search. Peace is learning how to be in myself exactly as I am. And this is what I want for you tonight to tap into that peace and quietness. I'm just pointing the way. I'm not here to teach you anything. I'm just reminding you that you are whole, perfect, and complete, first of all, already whole, perfect, and complete. And so what we want to do is just learning to be with that part of ourselves that we've ignored. You don't need to fix the world in this moment. You don't need to resolve every fear tonight. You're only going to come home to yourself. And when you do that, you step outside of the storm of the mind and into awareness. From there, you meet with life, more compassion, clarity, and strength. So tonight we'll practice this together. We'll learn how to sit with the breath and let thoughts pass without chasing them. We'll practice not picking up that second arrow. This is how we care for ourselves. This is how we stay, we stay grounded when the world feels unsteady. And remind yourself you're not broken. Your mind is not failing. You're simply human in a challenging moment, and you're allowed to rest. And I would like to take you through this quiet meditation right now. So I invite you to relax into your chair, or if you're lying down, I'm still learning this whole thing on YouTube. So I invite you to take a few slow, deep breaths. Breathing in, breathing out. Allow your body to settle into a comfortable position. You can sit upright with your back against a chair. If you're lying there down, try not to go to sleep. Let your hands rest easily. And if it feels safe for you, gently close your eyes. If not, soften your gaze. Take a moment to notice your body. Notice where your body makes contact with the chair or the bed or the floor. Feel the weight of your body being supported. You don't need to hold yourself up. You're being held. Now bring your attention to the breath. There's no need to change it. Simply notice the breath as it is, as it moves in your body, and notice the breath as it moves out. Breathing in, you are here. Breathing out, you're here. Allow your shoulders to soften. Let the jaw relax. Let the muscles in your face ease. You're not trying to get anywhere, you're arriving. Going home to your inner self. Now, as you sit, thoughts may arise like, this is normal. The mind thinks constantly. When you notice a thought, do not follow it, do not push it away. Simply notice and silently say, thinking, thinking. Then return your attention to the breath. It's like clouds moving across the sky, and you're the sky, being aware of the thoughts. Clouds are the thoughts. Now, if the mind moves to the future, just notice it and say future thinking. And if the mind moves to the past, notice that and say past thinking. If worry appears, notice and say worry is here. You're not judging the thoughts, you're not trying to fix them, you're simply aware of them. This is how you stop adding the second arrow. Notice any sensations in the body, tightness, warmth, or restlessness, or ease. Whatever you notice, just allow it to be here. There's nothing you need to change. Now, if discomfort is present, gently acknowledge it. This is the first arrow. Maybe it's just part of being human, right? See if you can let go of the story behind it. You don't need to explain it. You don't need to solve it. Just notice and return to the breath, breathing in, breathing out. Now, if another strong thought pulls you away or attention away, that's okay. As soon as you realize it, gently come back. That's mindfulness when you are noticing it. No self-criticism, just notice. So every time you return is an act of kindness toward yourself. Like they say, it's not how many times you've fallen off the horse, it's how many times you've gotten back on. Now notice the space between your breaths, the small pause after the exhale. Rest there for a moment. In that pause, there's no thinking required. You're simply aware. Thoughts may still move through the mind. Let them come and let them go. You are the awareness that notices them. You're the awareness. You might even say quietly to yourself, I'm aware. I'm here. You're not fixing the world right now. You're caring for yourself. Allow yourself to rest in this awareness for a few moments, and I'll sit quietly with you for about 30 seconds. Now, if thoughts return, gently notice them, thinking, and come back, breathing in, breathing out. Just notice the breath. You're learning to meet life from steadiness rather than from fear. And this steadiness is already within you. Now begin to bring your awareness back to your body. Notice your hands, your feet, the surface beneath you. And as we begin to close out this meditation, take one slightly deeper breath in and a slow breath out. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes or lift from your gaze. Take a moment before moving. So you can carry this with you. That peace is always there waiting for you to tap into it. And I want to thank you so much for being here. If you're being here live or you're looking at this recording, know that within inside of you is that peace and that calm and that love. But you need to stop and tap into it, and you can do that with the breath. The breath is your savior. It's always there for you. Whenever you get overwhelmed, stressed out, fearful, just stop and feel the breath. You can put your hand on your chest, it's well, and just feel that. So thank you so much for taking this time with me, and hope to see you next Sunday. So thank you so much for being here. Take care. Much love.